Okay, guys, so I don't normally go through an RV a second time within a year, but the changes they've made on this since the first time I went through it is amazing. This is threatening to be my personal favorite couples camping fifth wheel, and I cannot wait to go through this with you again. Hello, everybody. Josh RV Nerd of Bish's RV here with the 23ML Alliance Avenue. This is basically their version. Let's call a spade and a duck. This is their version of the Cougar 23MLE, which I freaking love. I think it is amazing because it's like 30 foot. It's something where if you have like a more medium duty or better 3/4 ton, you don't need a giant monster truck to be able to haul it around. But this floor plan gives us ideal, practically traveling access. And even if you don't care about travel stop access, it doesn't hurt you because you have direct facing entertainment. You have a surprisingly open feel in a one slide RV. You have amazing countertop prep space, amazing storage, a very solid little miniature outdoor camp kitchenette. This has something like 320 watts, I think, of factory solar up on the roof, which does not suck. Automatic leveling, and a fantastic weather package, something like 0 to 100 degree rated, tested, proven. A very easy to walk around true queen bed, and everything in this feels a little bit bigger, a little more open, and a little more grand. Not only just because of the new decor that they're using in here, which I love. I really like the look of this new decor, but the fact that this is a rare instance of a short, wide body fifth wheel. There are very few builders, I think you can count them on less than one hand, who make smaller, wide body fifth wheels like this. And that extra space in the small RV that we're looking at is such a game changer. Now, Alliance does amazing things, like their back-end customer service and support is about the best. It's the gold standard of the industry. Their running gear, the shock dampening pin box, suspension, the Goodyear tires, all of that, the composite walls and floor, like they're nailing so many things that I personally want to find in an RV. I feel super strong about this one. Like it might be my new personal favorite couples camping fifth wheel. I'll have to check it out, but I want to hear from you as we go. I'm going to try to reel myself in, give you good, bad, ugly, and in between like I always do, and let you decide which one's the best for you or not. So if you appreciate that, hit that subscribe button. Let's get in there. So there is very little they're doing that I don't really like myself in here. Like if I was going to try to craft something, it would probably, my version would probably look a lot like this. Now, that doesn't mean it's the right RV for you. It doesn't mean it's the best camper. It might be one of the best fits for me, but maybe I'm an idiot and it doesn't fit your preferences. Like little details though, like using the space off that dinette to create a shoe garage right by the door. It's so useful, and it just cuts the clutter like crazy. It is very pet friendly, easy cleaning because there's no vents in the floor, and they're very good about maintaining their ventless flooring agenda, I guess, for lack of a better way of saying it, even once you get into the upper deck. Now, when I first recorded the prototype, the floor plan was basically figured out, but it didn't have this new decor, and I underestimated the impact that this new decor was going to have on me. I like this. I like this a lot. Like, I love that very warm, natural kind of wood tone. I like the general color palette in here. It's not brown, and browner. Yeah, it's a lot of HOA gray instead of HOA brown, but I'm okay with it, you know. It's like UPS asks, you know, what can brown do for you? I don't know what that has to do with anything, but there you go. So that is a fold down kind of theater recliner right there, in case you know, you want a little less cuddle compliance, which is also a little bit of a wall hugger. Now on that armrest, you actually have some household and USB outlets that can pop up if you want them, and that's where your cup holder is going to be located. So they're kind of there if you want them, gone if you don't. But you also have a handy little, I'm going to call it like a little phone pocket or magazine shelf over here. That almost reminds me of some classic Fleetwood stuff. They took a big blank empty wasted wall panel and they just did something with it. Now technically there are two areas of wasted space around that refrigerator. One is technically directly behind it. The refrigerator is deep. It's a 10 cubic foot 12 volt fridge, but it's not as deep as the slide. So there actually is some empty pocket space behind that. They didn't use it from the outside either. And I think that's just an empty blank panel with wide open air behind it down there below the refrigerator. Personally, I would like that to be, I would take that panel out and I would look at what's back there. I'm pretty sure that's just thin air. And I, because it's all the way down to the ground, I'm okay if it doesn't have a cabinet door. I just don't want it to get wasted. But the cabinet storage on this, oh my gosh, for no bigger than this RV is, it has some severe storage space. Now, one of the things I've talked about in my videos several times is that when we are looking at a rear kitchen, things tend to get bounced around in transit. Now, that used to be way more true than it is now with older suspension packages. This does have a newer suspension package. I also want to note that this is a shorter wheelbase. So does this stuff bounce more than the things in your bedroom? Yes. Does it bounce severely to the point that I'm super concerned about it? Me personally, no. Now, there's several different types of like countertops used throughout this RV depending on where we're looking. When we are in the kitchen, we have solid surface counters. But this table, surprisingly, is actual wood. It's not like a particle board. Not only is that stronger, it's also lighter weight. So if you do want to pull that off there and manipulate it, it's much, much easier to do. I also really like how they gave a little bit of a toe kick under those cabinet doors right there. This is an RV shopping pro tip from your Uncle Josh. If you're going to go out there shopping for RVs, literally stand in front of the sink for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes straight and see if you can like simulate doing dishes without your lower back hurting you. Notice how the sink sticks out further than the overhead cabinet. So you're not arched backwards and you're not going to bang your head against it like Quiet Riot. You know what I mean? Bang your head. Anybody get the reference there? Oh my gosh, I think I'm getting old. Anyway.
I understood that reference.
This is their small series of fifth wheels, and they still have a big 30-inch residential size microwave. Now, up top here, let's look what's going on above us real quick. We've got the big XL Max Air vent fan with the wall control, and that sucker is pulling some serious air. I've got a couple of the windows open, and it has lowered the temperature in here by about 10 degrees. Ugh, that chair was further down than I thought it was. And as long as we're looking up top, the thing in the middle is your Bluetooth audio system on the RV. And then, of course, we have our air conditioner. Now, this is an Avenue All Access, which is a single 15,000 BTU air conditioner standard, optional second air. I would probably still want the second air on this if it were mine. Now, as we work our way down here, we have a jumbotron of a smart TV straight across from us. It is mounted up a little bit high. No, from the factory doesn't have a drop down. Yes, I would prefer it if it did. That's just my 2 cents right there. But it's huge. And if I'm reclining in the theater seat, it's not bad. And frankly, you can probably take the factory supplied swing arm hardware and rotate it 90 degrees and make it drop down. I'd probably try to do that. Or I'd get on Amazon and pick some different hardware. We also have pretty solid window coverage, like especially tuned right from the, what do I want to say? All the windows right here, basically. You've got amazing window coverage. Now, as long as I'm down here, I want to look where are the power outlets. The outlets are under the overhead cabinets. If I had my way in a perfect world, back in that corner, some kind of pop-up power tower would be nice, but under that elevated hutch area, I don't even know if that's the right word. Hutch isn't the right word, but you get it. Under the elevated chunk of the countertop, that's your mini camp kitchen. So they had to raise that up right there to make room for the camp kitchen. Now, a couple things that I don't like, but I could probably find a way to live with it or work around it. I don't love the pedestal style knee knocker tables, but I would swap that out for a free floating base. You know, some $40 set of legs off Amazon will fix that. And I don't love the fact that I don't have any easy access to the storage under the dining seating. What I do like is how they put a radius edge on that corner, because I'm a person who has slid in and out of, oh my Lord, many more thousands of dinettes than probably almost anyone else in the world. And I can't tell you how many times I have scraped the crap out of the back of my calves. Something I could see somebody potentially not loving, it's got a frosty glass on all the cabinets, which makes the whole RV look a little more light and airy and open. But if you got a lot of clutter in the cabinets, you could still sort of see it. And I could see somebody not loving that. I've yet to find someone who doesn't like carpetless floor flush slides. Is there anybody? Well, there's people who don't like slides, period. But is there anybody who doesn't like a carpetless slide system? Because I can't recall any time that I've ever encountered that myself. I don't know. Comments? Anybody? Now, the storage in this thing is fantastic. I do want to make a quick mention to the blackout roller shades that you have here. And I love the fact that they include a switch for the lights above the sofa right there in the slide. Now, Your pantry's located over here. It's not located next to the fridge because they went with a little bit wider theater seat, so they had to get the pantry out of there. But you might notice these are adjustable, removable shelves, and the you see the power outlets over there, which are now easier to see thanks to the motion-activated lighting that just kicked in down there. If you want to convert that over into like a little appliance corner, you've got the perfect little place to do it. Little USB phone charging setup right there. We have some household outlets under that cabinet, overhead cabinet, by the way. So if you want to maybe turn that into a little coffee maker bar, you could, provided it has enough length to it. Now, note the location of that converter box. When the slides close, it will not be blocked. It will be easy to access. And a cool thing Alliance does, let's talk about some of the things that you can't see on an Alliance. You can't see the fact that they use all color-coded wiring. Now, every now and then somebody will leave a comment and be like, oh boy, big frickin' deal, they use color-coded wiring. You mean like the automotive industry? Yeah, I do. And the reason I mention it is because the vast majority of RVs out there do not. So when somebody does that, like Keystone, I think Winnebago does that, Alliance, I like to point it out because it tends to be an RV that is wired more correctly. You know, these are also all pocket screwed lumber core cabinets. So it is actual screws into wood. It's not just staples in your imagination holding it together. I like how they throw shelving in that overhead cabinet space there to really maximize the storage. Now, again, looking at things, taking the extra time to open stuff up where you don't normally get to look at it, you're actually sitting on plywood decking, even in your dinette. And again, that is a real wood tabletop. But I don't know that I've ever shown how a little shoe garage works in a dinette bench. It's not like it's complicated, but I don't know if they did it on purpose or not, it creates the perfect place to transport or store those little pedestal table bars. I think that's very, very cool myself. I've never seen that. Another thing that I like to do, I like to lift up sofas or I like to open up dinettes. I like to look at the cleanliness of wiring. And you notice how what you don't see is like a rat's nest of wires or wires just dangling down right here. Like everything was zip tied in place. Everything is done with a lot of purpose and intent. And I have a lot of respect for the things that they accomplished here. Now, proper plumbing, hookups, and fixtures is a major deal in the RV industry, a major talking point right now. And Alliance is doing the work effectively. They're using all PEX on PEX where absolutely possible. Technically speaking, when you go to certain water fixture items, you are required for code reasons to go to a little bit of a flex line, but they use specialized connectors made to do exactly that. And you might notice how every single water line has its own individual shutoff valve. So if you want to, for some reason, if you have a need to turn off the hot or cold water to that faucet, you can without crippling the rest of the RV. Now, the trick is with the way this dinette sticks out, it's really hard to see how much awesome drawer space you actually have here. It's all a nicely, fully finished off plywood, so it's not a massive splinter factory. And you've got drawers to the floors over here, ladies and gentlemen. Very good in that area about not wasting space. Again, there's a little bit, I think, of potentially dead wasted pocket space around the refrigerator, but otherwise they've done pretty good. And as we take a quick look there at your 12-volt compressor fridge, I want to slowly pan you over to the right side of the screen. Because one thing you're going to notice is I've left the pantry door slightly ajar, right next to that slide fascia. This is something you need to put like a little yellow sticker or something on your slide out button to remind yourself, make sure pantry door is closed before you try to operate that slide. Because if the slide is closed and in transit, if there was some road violence, I bet you can't imagine that on our nation's immaculate highway system. If that door popped open and you didn't pay attention and you opened the slide, it could catch that door handle and man, either the door or the slide out wins in the fight, and no matter who wins, you lose. That is not something you want to get into. Now, on the air conditioners, I mentioned how it's 1 air standard, 2 air optional. Your factory standard air right here that's centralized, it does have the RV airflow system upfit kit applied to it. Now, that is it's something that increases the airflow efficiency and reduces noise by dampening turbulence. Look at that. There's actually, so we've got a full-on shoe garage, but then we've got a little flip-flop shop right down there as we head up into the upper deck. Something else that I really like on these, they use a different engineered chassis, a totally different chassis made specifically to Alliance specs that allows them to have no ankle breaker step of death in the upper deck to the bathroom there. As we get into the bathroom, I mentioned how there's 3 different like countertop surfaces. In the bathroom, we have a thermal foil kind of arrangement right there. And they give us a big cabinet up here for some pretty significant lipid storage galorage. I might notice we've got a door on the left and a blank panel in the middle. Well, that is actually going to be some bedroom closet storage space. We'll get there in a second. First, I want to work our way down, and you will notice, again, no heat vents in the floor. They kept that coming off the cabinet side with the ducting. We do have a true pocket door. When I say true, I mean it actually is enclosed like within the wall. And notice how they have the toilet angled right here. So if you draw your eyes to the right side of the screen, you can see that there's like very, very good space around that toilet. Plus, with this being a wide body, not only does the living room look and feel bigger, but it's most impactful here in the bathroom. And then when we get to the bedroom, that's where the extra wide body nature of this really, really comes into play. Now, on the left side of the screen, you'll notice how, even though it has a huge skylight above the shower, I don't need to stick my head into it. Even being a little bit over 6 foot tall, I can fit in that thing just fine. And the cool... Hang on. I'm just doing some eyeball math. Is it possible? I'm trying to determine if this handle could maybe hit that mirror for an ear. No, I don't think so. I don't think that's a reasonable concern. Okay. I was just like, hey, is that going to break? What do you need to do to not break stuff like Limp Bizkit? Wow. That tells you a little bit about what I listened to a touch in high school. Anyway, let's open the bathroom storage on the left side of the screen, shall we? You've got some wastebasket space going on over there, a couple good drawers, and then some good dedicated linen space in here that is nicely fully enclosed so that it doesn't, fall all over the place when you're wiggling, jiggling down the road in transit. Now, the one that we're looking at today is outfitted with their optional second air conditioner. That's not standard, as the word optional implies. I probably didn't need to say that, but hey, I have said it, so there we go. You get the idea. It is a direct dump air, so if you want to be breathing frickin' icicles in here, you absolutely could. This is also a true queen bed, 60 by 80 true queen, but because it's a wide body RV, there's more room to walk around this bed than almost anybody else. And that's one of the reasons I think it would make so much sense if they offered a king option or an Olympic queen, but at this time, they don't. So what's your take on that? Understanding if you get a wider bed, you're going to get smaller side stands and less side storage. What's the correct solution there, guys? Now, this is where it gets interesting because you don't have hanging storage here. That's actually built into the wall across from the bed. You've got a couple other really neat solutions, though. Like, you do have some drawers built right in. So this thing has, like, really good dresser, croc socks, and undie space. But both side stands actually flip up and have, like, a little hidden storage pocket in there, which I think is interesting. They also have household and USB outlets right on both sides of the bed. Now, the flip-up side stand that we just looked at, like, something that's not as obvious, this bedroom's not symmetrical. The side of the RV that we're standing on, there's more space to walk around the bed. This over here is kind of the space you normally have to walk around the bed in a normal true queen bedroom. But because it's wide body, for whatever reason, they decided to go asymmetrical in this and make this side bigger. So if one person wants a little more room to walk around the bed than the other person, that's where you're going to find it. And they make getting to the storage under the bed pretty darn easy. Thanks to those double struts right there, all you got to do is pretend you're salt and pepper and lift it. Lift it real good. That may not have actually been their song. Yeah. Ooh, I think this is going to hurt. Okay, so every now and then I like to do this little test where I'll sit up in bed with an overhead cabinet and see if I'm going to knock myself out. I think this is going to hurt. I don't want to cheat it, though. I'm going to close my eyes. Quick prayer. Hail Mary, full of grace. Please don't hit me in the face. Oh, I don't know how close that was. I know it didn't hit me. It's good enough for me. Speaking of lying in bed, if, you kind of were, this would sort of be your point of view. I am technically standing beside the bed. But since there's no sliding door, perfect location for a TV wall. Our light switches in like the living room and the bedroom all have dimmable lighting. So there's just a little slider on that makes that very easy. Once again, we do have your heat ducting into the bedroom, not in the floor. This is a truly, totally ventless floor system. which sounded eerily close to like totally turtle friendly, dude. Which might be sort of a top of mind awareness thing for me because this floor plan is exactly that. It is totally turtle friendly, dude. If you're looking here though, that's where your closet's located, but there's 4 big dresser drawers down below that. Now, they are very difficult for me to showcase on camera because of the way the cabinet doors open, but there's a 4th drawer down below that one. Something else I noticed up here, look at the bottom left corner of your screen coming into view. They include a handy little magnet holdback for this bedroom door. It's just those stupid little details that just make life simple. Now, I've also taken the liberty of closing the slide. So obviously, the door can lead you straight to the upper deck. Bedroom and bathroom, fully accessible, fully functional. With the slide closed, you can easily get to the refrigerator, the sink, basically almost all of the kitchen storage, and you can actually sit in, occupy, and use that dinette. You can't get to the oven. You might be able to kind of reach around that corner to get to the microwave, but that's not really ideal. By default, the RV doesn't have an inverter or a generator, so that microwave wouldn't work for travel anyway. And, all right. Hey! Thankfully, we don't have electrical gremlins. Somebody was plugging in the 5th wheel next door, didn't realize this one was plugged in, unplugged it, and realized very quickly when they heard me go, that we needed a power back. So they plugged it back in. Anyway, you probably don't care about what's happening locally. If you appreciate how we take the time to close and open everything for you, hit that subscribe button, or just leave us a little note. Let us know we're doing a good job for you. Be like, hey, thanks, nerd. I'm going to hop outside. We'll keep on going. Now, something that always surprises me, if you draw your attention down to the bottom of the screen here, despite their size, like the wider body, Avenue 5th wheels always come in a little bit lighter than I expect, and these have very respectable holding tank capacities also for something this size, having a little bit more space in the body, and they are running a wider chassis, which allows them more room between the frame rails for holding tanks. It really adds up. Now, also kind of factoring into the favor of the potential boondock crowd, we have things like the 320 watt solar package on the roof. They run I think a 40 amp controller as well. So the controller is not totally maxed out from the factory, but being used up quite a bit, you know. If you wanted to go super mega custom solar, you're going to have to do some aftermarket work on this thing. And if you wanted to install a generator, I do think that there might be space for a smaller profile generator up here. But that, again, will also be a completely aftermarket object. Now, your leveling on this is all push buttons, simple and easy. Your construction, about the only splinters of wood you'll find in the construction, this is pretty much that snow load walk-on roof. Most of the rest of it is composite paneling, block foam insulation, and aluminum welded cage structure. And if you want to learn more about how these are built, I have 2 things for you. I have a full Alliance Avenue factory video tour where I Johnny Cash walked the line with you, and a separate video just going through and detailing Alliance's lamination processes. Now, our pass-through compartment here is a little bit larger, just like everything else in the RV, because again, it's wide body. And I really love how they put these 3-way switches out here. So on this side, next to the TV hookups, you have a switch that can open the awning right here from ground level. On the opposite side, you have a switch for the slide out. So you can be outside and line of sight open and close stuff to make sure that they're unimpeded and not getting smashed. Now, one of the only kind of things, like I love the fact that the door's dead in the middle of the awning. That's ideal. It's not the biggest awning because it's not the biggest RV, and they included this handy little camp kitchen over here. And that, it limits the potential space that we might have available. Now, this floor plan would not be possible and balanced properly if it were not for these fold down stable steps, because you see how they overlap those Goodyear Endurance radials? You could not have traditional fold out steps. So this layout is literally made possible thanks to those steps. Now, I already mentioned the Goodyears there. If you look down between them, you see you also have a MORryde suspension package. And that's those kind of things. Those are some of the things that help separate this from some of the other brands with similar floor plans. Maybe they don't have all those exact same things. Maybe they're not running all the same composite paneling this is, or something, I don't think this is going to be the least expensive version of this floor plan, I do feel it is one of the better appointed and executed versions of this floor plan. Now, this is the thing that Alliance really seems hell-bent on election of doing here, is anywhere they can, they've really started including a bunch of these griddle combos right here. I do like that it slides way open, though. It helps keep a bunch of that grease splatter away from the RV. Who's that guy in the red shirt down there? Who's that guy? That is Mr. Liquefied himself. Boom! 3, 2, 1. That just cost me $2. All right, no, I can take that. How much is that with inflation, Matt? All right, anyway, you get the idea. What's back to work. Stop goofing around. All right, JD. Now, you guys might also recognize that voice. We've been clowning around here all day. Frankly, I think we would have all got a lot more done if we weren't talking to each other all day, but we've had a lot of fun. God forbid, camping's a little fun, you know? Back here, you have a full 3,000-pound receiver hitch with a 4-way wiring harness and safety chain hook. So if you want to tag along a small trailer, this being a shorter fifth wheel is a better fit for doing something like that. I will get you up on the roof before the video concludes here, but I do appreciate that they do have a ladder on this all the time. It's tight quarters here, but I snuck under the gooseneck of the fifth wheel behind me because I want to get you over here for something I think is done very, very well. I know this was not easy because the bathroom's way in front of the axles and the kitchen's behind the axles. A lot of times, floor plans like this have 2 sewer hookups. This one doesn't. This is a simple, easy, kind of all combined together. Jason, guys, this is Mr. Jason Epperson from RV Miles. He's a, I'd say one of the most independent, candid resources for all kinds of stuff out there. So this is a single-headed sewer monster. Yeah. You're a person who has camped in multiple RVs. How important is that to you?
That's really important. It's a pain to crawl under there and pull the sewer handles. I mean, you literally have to crawl on the ground, sometimes in mud, and bang your head on the roof.
Yeah, and when people unhook their sewer bayonets, it's not always just clean water that drips out, so that's not where you want to be crawling, right? No, you ever notice how the grass grows a little greener and thicker right there?
It grows real well.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like fertilized. So there you go. So don't just take it from me. Take it from a guy who actually has spent years full-timing in an RV with his family.
That's great. It's all the way at the back.
Yeah, no. Perfect. And it's all in one. They did a great job. Now, working up here past the rack and pinion slide, one of the other things that I noticed is the tankless on-command water heater and on-command water heat. It's on command. And your furnace exhaust, they're all over here on the poop side of the RV. And of course, our docking station, is all in the correct location. Another really cool thing I like that they do on these, I know I'm right up close in your face with this footage, but they really put their leveling control pad in like the smartest location possible, I think. And at this point, I need to head to the back. Wow, look at the high gloss on the skin. Holy cow, that looks good. Let's get up on the roof and get high on camper, shall we? So first of all, one of my favorite things, they added that little grab handle so you can get up here. I will say the location of the solar panel is not my favorite, being right next to the ladder. It does kind of limit your walking space right against the edge of the RV. I don't love that, but not the end of the world. 320-watt solar panel. This is a 15,000 BTU Coleman Mach Q Series air unit. And I'm not saying this fan puts out a lot of air, but it literally blew my hair off, as far as you know. And I love that they use white shrouds on these. It just helps the air unit not get as hot under that cover, and it doesn't tend to get chalky and fade under the sun like a black fixture would. Now, some of the other fixtures on the roof are black because those suppliers don't offer them in other colors in many cases. So it is what it is. We get what we get, and we don't throw a fit, ladies and gentlemen. The big black bucket, that's your 360 antenna thing that usually you can upgrade and plug like a Wi-Fi LTE unit in those. I won't lie, I don't know much about those, so I don't want to make this up. But remember, your bedroom air on this is an optional item. Now, that's true of the Avenue All Access series. If you start looking at the big full Avenues, or full Avenue has 2 air conditioners standard with an option for a third air like we're looking at here. So again, I do not normally go through the same floor plan twice in 1 year like this. But I saw the original prototype and it wasn't this. This looks so much cleaner and more refined to me. Now that they've had time for it to finish cooking in the oven, basically, I'm very excited. Now, to help you out here, I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to leave you a bunch of links in the video description. First, if you want to check pricing and availability, whether you're curious or whether you're serious, that's one click away. You never have to call a salesperson to get a price tag unless we happen to be sold out, and then we can let you know if the next one coming in would run. But also, at this point, so now Cougar makes a version of this. They make Cougar makes a bigger version of this also with a bedroom slide, which is very cool, but it's longer, heavier, more expensive. A bunch of builders are making something like this now. I'll leave you links to similar floor plans from other builders, and you let me know, which one do you think is the best and why? Which one would you go with if it was your money on the line? Because right now, I'm a little torn and conflicted. I like this thing. I like this thing a lot myself. So until next time, I'm going to go sit down inside this thing for a bit and just chill out because I like it that much. But take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.